Adam, what was your take on Eubank Sr. wanting Junior to pull out of this fight, which is not going to happen, obviously?
No, obviously not. But you've got to feel for him. Obviously, his family's gone through an awful amount of trauma over the last 12 months with the death of his son. So therefore, him coming from the angle of trying to protect his boy going into the hurt business, you've got to feel for him, absolutely. A couple of weeks ago, Tony Sims, who is the main trainer for Conor Benn, was on our Fight Night show, and it was him that revealed to us that 157 as the catch weight was first suggested by the Eubank Jr. team, and the rehydration clause limit, of which has not been properly revealed to the public, again was suggested by the Eubank Jr. Team. So therefore, if you're not prepared to hit that weight or make those particular weight limits on fight the day before, on weigh-in day and fight night,
why are you doing it?
Then why make them suggestions in the first place?
But is it when I heard that there was 157 was a response to Conor suggesting 153, or Conor's camp suggesting 153?
Yeah, listen, that could be absolutely the case.
So it wasn't just a case of we'll take 157 because we'll take 157. That's the weight we've alighted upon. It's because Conor started the discussion, or Conor's people started it at 153. Now, what about this rehydration situation, Adam? Because it allows fighters to pump up quite significantly to go back in after being weighed, and you're going to see Eubank, if he was allowed, going up by 10, 12 pounds.
Well, let me answer that on two separate ways, right? If I just separate the Eubank Ben situation, because Eubank's very different. He walks around at the weight that he near enough fights at. I know that he's gone up to 168, but he's not a big 168. He's and there's nothing on him at 160 either.
Yeah.
My attitude towards rehydration clauses is that they should be banned from boxing, because there's no way, and this is scientifically proven, that a depleted fighter can rehydrate themselves fully within 24 to 36 hours and then step into the ring and go into the hurt business. Why are we doing that? Why are we sending depleted fighters into rings, into combat? So my attitude, again, first and foremost, in this particular instance, is because they're looking to try to gain an advantage. A fighter will always try to gain an advantage. Therefore, you've got fighters fighting at 160 pounds, for example, who walk around at 180 pounds, and they're crashing weight. They're not doing the weight properly, and therefore, when they're weighing in on fight day, they'll then rehydrate over a 24 to 36 hour period, and they will blow up, as what you're insinuating there. Yeah. And we've seen that with Canelo in the past. Canelo's weighed in at 154, at 160, and then he's been 180, 185 when it comes to fight night. So therefore, they're trying to obviously gain an advantage when it comes to weight. We have weight divisions for a reason, in order to keep fighters safe in those moments. I'm a big fan of trying to get to a situation where fighters have a DEXA stand at the start of the year, where we're taking in body mass, bone density, and all those types of things, and you're told you cannot fight lower than this particular weight. So therefore, we're going to get fighters then fighting more around the walk around weight. So we're not having dehydrated fighters going into fights.
Okay, what we do know is the fight goes ahead. Eubank Jr. will fight Conor Benn. And that was made very clear to us when he joined us the other day, the fight promoter, Calla Sutherland.
Very clear statement. The fight is absolutely on. It came from one comment to one journalist, which of course spread like wildfire. We don't have a contract with Chris Eubank Sr. We have a contract with Chris Eubank Jr. He was sparring yesterday. My only issue at the moment is to find sparring partners, because he's going through them like a hot knife through butter.
So he's in the mood. I mean, here's one for you, Adam. Having both dads in their respective corners, is it good for the fight in terms of promotion, but bad for the fighters?
Well, it's because of the dads that we're here, isn't it? Let's be straight. This does nothing for the sport of boxing. Neither of these guys are in each other's weight divisions. It's not like you win this, you're progressing on to a world title, because I don't think it does anything like that. We're here because of nostalgia. We're here because we're looking for a crossover fight. And we're here because the casual fans interested in the narratives of what happened in the 1990s to obviously give ourselves a situation to what we've got now with the Suns going at it. Just a quick one to continue on the weight situation regarding Chris Eubank Jr. I said I'd answer it in two different parts. He is a consummate professional. He's not a guy that goes out. I know you see him in nightclubs and stuff like that, but he's not a drinker. He doesn't blow up in weight. So there's very, very little on him. The way that he'll have to do this is that he'll have to change his training regime. He's going to have to lose some type of muscle mass. It's not fat that he's losing, or water really, because the dehydration to hit 157 will be the same as hitting 160. It'll just be a muscle mass situation. If he does it right, if he does it properly, he will hit 157 when it comes to the weigh-in day. I just hope that they have a little bit of a chat and they can get rid of the rehydration clause, because I don't think there's any point. He doesn't blow up anyway. He's not going to be 170, 180 on the night, and therefore there won't be any danger towards Conor stepping in with him.
Right. Okay. At the moment, Sam, from what we hear, and Sutherland alluded to it there, Conor Benn at the moment is a wrecking ball when it comes to sparring partners. He's in the mood. Apparently knocking everything out of sight that comes his way.
Yeah, Kelly would have been talking about Chris though, wouldn't he? But the bottom line is that Conor Benn is a wrecking machine at the level that he's fought at so far. He is getting better each fight. I still don't like this fight for him. I mean, I know people are talking about, and we'll get to it in a minute, I'm sure, that Conor Benn is going to deal with Chris Eubank. I just think if you put a small one in with a big one, and they're both decent fighters, a good big one will always be a good small one. And I just don't like the fight for Conor. I worry. I said to Conor himself, I said, forget the analogy, but understand the meaning. When Kell Brook was put in against Gennady Golovkin, he got damaged. So he then loses his fight against his world title against Errol Spence. So he goes, well, he ain't Gennady Golovkin. And I said, well, you ain't Kell Brook yet either. So bottom lining is going in against Chris Eubank could put you in jeopardy. The more I've listened to Chris Eubank, the more I've warmed to him. I mean, in the last couple of weeks, I've been listening to his press conferences. There is an element.
He still doesn't like you.
Well, that's fine. I'm not asking for his approval of me. I'm talking about my reaction to him.
Okay.
But I like some of the sentiments. He has nowhere to go, does he, Adam? If he loses this fight, he has nowhere to go. And the reasons why they're taking this fight, and don't let me be kidded by anything else, is because the money they're going to put on the table for this fight is, ridiculous.
How ridiculous? Do you know?
4 each. 4 Eubank, 3.5 Benn.
4 million each.
That kind of level of money is astronomical for a domestic fight.
That's huge, Adam, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the biggest money out there for both of these guys. Let's be straight. Where they're currently at in their divisions, if we talk about Conor first and foremost at 147, at the moment, he ain't winning a world title at 147. People can blow smoke as much as they want. He's doing very well. He's most certainly proven me wrong over the last 2 to 3 years.
He's got Crawford and Spence, hasn't he?
He's exceeded my expectations of him, but not only has he got Crawford and Spence, he's also got Boots and Virgil Ortiz and a host of other guys at 147 pounds that are of a certain level. Now, if he was to get a world title, all those names that we've just mentioned to the casual listener, they don't know too much about those guys. So he's only going to get paid, best part of them? I know this is big money, but best part of $1 million, maybe even less than that in order to take that opportunity. So to get $4 million to fight a guy of this name, it's absolute no-brainer from a Conor point of view. And from Chris's point of view, he's in a different situation because he's managed to get himself into a decent position with the WBA in the 160-pound division. But the guy that holds that belt is Gennady Golovkin. Yeah, he's 40 years of age, but he's still absolutely mustard. And if you look around the rest of the guys at 160 as well, they're all very, very good. The likes of the Charlos, and there's a new guy in there who's just taken the WBO belt called Zanik Alabakuli that a lot of people don't know too much about, and he could be the best of the flipping lot.
Sure, okay.
So to become world champion, very, very difficult. As Simon just said, this is a business transaction. This is nothing to do with sport. This is the most amount of money available to both men.
Absolutely. And it's on. It's happening, in spite of Eubank Sr. saying otherwise.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.